promise I'm more prepared than this in my classroom. Good afternoon, City College community, faculty and staff, administration, and fellow graduates, friends and family. I want to thank the Scholarship Committee for asking me to speak at today's commencement ceremony. I'm truly honored and thrilled to represent the School of Education graduate students. Shout out to the fellows. I need to come out and say it. One of the reasons I really wanted to speak today was because I've spoken at every single one of my graduations. No, really, I've knocked out 5 for 5 for graduation speeches. Starting with my kindergarten graduation, I spoke about how we grew from September as illiterate, untied shoed, crying children, clinging on to our parents, to that day of graduation as literate, shoe-tying, know-it-all scholars. At my 8th grade graduation, my voice cracked so much, no one knows what I was saying, but it had something to do with overcoming puberty. At my high school graduation, I rallied 700 of my closest friends to celebrate our tearful departure from one another. Which, by the way, can you believe I'm still friends with all 700 of them? On Facebook. But still, congrats Katie from Study Hall on your second baby. And Zuckerberg, I see you. Just because I wanted to find out what pie I am based on my color preferences doesn't give you the right to know Katie from Study Hall better than I did. And at my undergraduate graduation from Pace University, I spoke about, well, actually, you know what? After this or at any point you get bored with me speaking, look it up on YouTube. I apologize in advance for the shaky filming. My dad told me that he'll do a better job this time. Dad. Now I'm here. How am I supposed to outshine my past speeches? I asked Katie from Study Hall for advice over Facebook by commenting on her baby announcement and received 3 likes and a "How do I know you?" from Katie from Study Hall. I was thinking about using Michelle Obama's speech from last year's main CCNY commencement, but someone tweeted me at 3 a.m. that their wife already did that at a national convention. Hashtag fake news. So here we are again. What should I speak about? I'm sorry, Professor Fraga, Valle, Entegar, Kastner, Klein, and Collins. I know I told you I'd make you proud when you nominated me to speak. Wait. Katie from Study Hall just sent me a message. Tell them stories like your kindergarten graduation speech. Oh, Katie from Study Hall was in my kindergarten class, not my high school. We'll get that right. Okay, story. I have a couple I can tell, but I'll go with this one. For those of you itching for their phone to look up my undergraduate speech on YouTube right now, stop. Phones away. And eyes on me. Thank you. Teacher joke. This is a political fable I read somewhere, and I'm not sure if it's true, but the lesson is so relevant to education today. Just a few blocks down from here and a little closer to the Hudson, Columbia University was undergoing an expansion. At this time, Dwight Eisenhower was the university's president. While meeting with designers and architects, he was presented with 2 very different plans for sidewalk layout. Both sides confident their plan, backed by research, mathematics, and design theory, was the only way to go, and wholeheartedly argued the other plan was completely wrong and backed by faulty research, mathematics, and design theory. I mean, who knew that sidewalk design was such a hot topic? Well, what was Eisenhower's decision? The savage he was decided to plant grass instead. No sidewalks, telling the designers to wait a year and see where the students walked along the turf. Based on the student-created paths, the designers were to lay the sidewalk on it. This story illustrates such an important and relevant question to all of us here today, especially the graduates. What is the job of education, of teachers? Is it to tell students which path to take? Or is it to smooth the way they've chosen for themselves in order to reach their full potential? I argue the latter. It is our job as educators, as advocates, to smooth the way for our students' chosen path the best we can. Don't believe me? I have data to support it. My principal and assistant principals would be so proud. When I found out I was speaking at today's commencement, I went straight to the source for inspiration, my students. I asked them, what advice do you have for future or new teachers? The results were quite remarkable. You would assume or predict the majority of them would write no homework, or fewer tests, or more free time. But according to my results, it was very different. Weeding through answers like, quit while you still can, pretend you came from a worse school so they'll think you're tough, love basketball, and the students needing extra credit, which worked, be like Mr. Mahalski. I came upon answers like, your students are not your students. They are your kids. Understand your impact and influence. Everything you do impacts your students. Don't just teach them the subject, teach them the possibilities. Upon surveying 2 different classes with 9th through 12th graders, totaling 70 students, the top 3 answers were number 3, know your students' individual needs and everyone learns differently. Number 2, be enthusiastic, passionate, and have a sense of humor. And number 1, bond with and care for your students. And I'm no statistician, I'm no research expert, I'm no Nate Silver or accurate pollster for that matter. I understand my sample size is small, but I'm gonna go out on a limb here. It might be the largest set of students ever consulted to have a say on effective teacher practice. There's no framework, there's no policymaker, there's no corporation being consulted about what makes an effective teacher. It's a set of students who are asking something small that can have a big impact on education. When I first set out to become a teacher, I was asked the typical question, why do you want to become a teacher? Which is usually followed up immediately by something about low salary, but you get summer vacation. Well, my answer was different but simple. I want to be the answer to a student's password recovery question. What is the name of your favorite teacher? Although it may seem silly that I want to be among the answers of questions about pets, maiden names, and high school mascots, it has directed my teaching. As Maya Angelou said a little more eloquently, I've learned that people forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I would like to end with a quote that was the start for City College of New York. On January 21st, 1849, City College, known as the Free Academy at the time, held its formal opening. Dr. Horace Webster, a United States Military Academy of West Point graduate and first president of the university, stated, "The experiment is to be tried, whether the children of the people, the children of the whole people can be educated, and whether an institution of the highest grade can be successfully controlled by the popular will, not by the privileged few." Each one of us here today is proof that the experiment was and always will be successful when access and opportunity is equitable for all people, the whole people, and not just the privileged few. And like I said at my kindergarten graduation, we may tie our shoes differently. We may tie them slower than others. We may even double knot them or prefer a Velcro shoe. But from what I can see, all of our shoes are tied. No more crying over untied shoes, and even when we do, we know how to get back up, dust ourselves off, and retie our shoes a little tighter. Thank you so much, and congratulations, 2018.